Okay, welcome to another programming exam solution tutorial for the 2015 Comp 1 exam. We're looking at the capture the siren code, and we're going to be looking at changing some move rules. And an interesting one is the Nabu, which currently can move one space in diagonals to a full bishop. So let's make sure what we understand by that. Oops, the current Nabu moves diagonally in any direction one space, and the bishop can move any number of squares diagonally. Neither are allowed to jump, so we need to make sure we understand that. Now, this is the current bit of code that basically checks the Nabu, but it also makes sure that this absolute is 1, so it can only move to these squares. What we're going to do is remove that 1 and just say, as long as the absolute horizontal equals the absolute vertical difference, then that's fine, because that's basically the definition of a diagonal. The only killer is that if you're not allowed to jump, you have got to iterate through every single square and make sure it equals 0. Now, there is a sneaky way of doing this just with one statement, but the Gizgagir does it with 4 statements like I've set up here. So effectively this is the 4 possible diagonals: positive, positive, negative, negative, positive, negative, negative, positive. And what we're going to do is put the iterations, just like the Gizgagir, inside these 4 statements. And I just think using that structure, you've got the Gizgagir code to refer back to in the exam, and that way if you've gone for this structure, it's got like a little prompt for you, so I think it's worth doing. So, to recap the strategy before we have a look at the code, we're going to use the same structure as the Gizgagir, check its diagonal move, select the diagonal using that structure, and then iterate along the diagonal, checking every single square. I say empty here, obviously equals space, space. Now, when we're doing this, don't forget that the array dimensions are the opposite way round to the way we refer to the board. The board is file and rank, however the array called board organises itself rank file, just to be annoying. And this is the second time that I've done this video, because when I did the last one, as I did my testing, mixed it the other way around and made a right real mess of it. So, let's have a little look at the code. Before we start looking at the actual code for changing the move rules for the Nabu, in order to test it, by far the easiest way is for us to add pieces to the sample game. The sample game is a bit sparse, if we're going to be honest, and it kind of is screaming for extra pieces to be added. Now, I don't think these are going to be worth hundreds of marks, but I wouldn't be surprised if they added to. So all I've done is made sure I've added a Nabu to 1-4, and I've added a black redden to 2-5, just for testing purposes. And we'll have a look at that in a moment. Let's just quickly check that works. Okay, so there's the new Nabu, and there's the redden, and that way I can check I can't jump over. I'll take it, and then I'll go and take something else as well. Okay, so let's have a look at the code. So, I've got the Nabu move is legal, and you can see what I've done is I've absolutely mirrored how the Gizgagir code works. You've seen this already, and you've seen my selections. I'm working on the principle that I start off with it false. I then say that if it's a diagonal, make the assumption it's true, and then check and iterate through and only make it false if there's a piece that we're having to jump over. So it's exactly the same structure. So if we're going positive, positive, then we can see that we're going to count through from 1 to file difference, so basically a set number. In fact, I'm doing that for all of the statements, and all I'm going to do, this is subtly different actually to the way the gives gear works. I'm either adding or subtracting count to the rank and file from where I am. So if I start off at 5.5 and I'm going a file difference of 3, then in this case it will be 5.5, 6.6, 7.7, 8.8. You get the idea. And if I was going in this diagonal where it's -1 +1, then I would go sorry, mine's been blank. I would go start from 5.5 to 6, 4, 7, 3, 8, 2, and yeah, you get the idea. So I thought this was quite not necessarily elegant, but it's very, very, very clear that positive, 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 negative, positive, positive, and the negative keeps blinking well the other way around. And in fact, actually looking at this now, I'm feeling a bit annoyed with myself that I put rank difference second and file difference first here when it's the other way around on the array. I think it would have been a little bit neater to put them the other way around, a bit more obvious, a little bit less chance to make a mistake. And you can see for each of these iterations, all I'm doing is just making sure that it's blank, and if it's not blank, then assign the move to legal. It wouldn't be the end of the world to have a return false here. I'm not a big fan of lots of return falses where you jump out. I much prefer to have a boolean set true or false and then return at the end, so you've got a single path through. But, right, so that's the solution. What I'll do is I'll stick, because this is obviously quite a chunky one, I will stick this on a paste bin, and I'm just going to pause the video and I'll put the paste bin link up here so you can see it. Okay, so if you click on this link, that'll take you to my paste bin where I've got the link. So I'll stick this on as a comment on the video, or in the description of the video as well, so you can get to it. Hopefully you found that useful. This is pretty easy. There's nothing tricky there. It's quite time consuming. It's also a bit annoying to test. We'll just test it just so we can show. So let's go from 1.4 through to 5.8. And quite correct, it's not a legal move. 1.4 through to 2.5, and we should take it, which we have. We'll need to move something now, so why don't we move, what have we got? Blacks, let's just move something. 8.6, 8.7, and we'll just move this up here, so that's 2.5 through to 5.2. Yep, so we can see that's moving as we'd expect. I hopefully found that useful. Do feel free to ask me. In doing this, I'm not massively convinced this is definitely going to come up, but I do get a feel that something like it might. So I think it's a good one to get practiced on. It's a good one to really, really, really get your head around how different moves work, and yeah, hopefully you're practicing hard and getting ready for the exam.